November 1923, Berlin. You're standing in line at a bakery. It's cold. Nobody's chatting because even talking feels expensive when food is the only thing that matters. You keep your eyes on the price board. Bread, 200 billion marks. You do the math in your head. You've got enough. Barely. You can feel your whole day balancing on that number. The line inches forward. Then you hear chalk scrape wood. The baker doesn't even look up. No drama, just a quick rewrite like he's updating the weather. Bread, 250 billion marks. Not tomorrow, not next week, while you're still standing there. Behind you, a woman grips a wheelbarrow stuffed with cash, paper piled so high it takes hardware to move it. And the sick joke is this: she isn't carrying wealth, she's carrying minutes. Because in a currency death spiral, money isn't money, it's melting ice. And if you think this is ancient history, it's not. It's a cycle. Venezuela, Lebanon, Zimbabwe, different flags, same math. Here's the thesis you need to hold on to. The average lifespan of a fiat currency is 27 years. The question isn't if it will fail. The question is what you're holding when it does. Now, before we talk about what survives, we have to talk about what gets wiped out first. Because collapse isn't random. It doesn't hit everything equally. It follows a pattern. First, fixed income. Bonds. Sounds safe, right? Responsible. Guaranteed. Backed by a government. But a bond is just you becoming a creditor to the state. And when the state is failing, that's not safety. That's volunteering to be paid back in currency the government can print to infinity. They don't have to say default. They just pay you in money that buys nothing. Second, domestic savings accounts. This is the quietest theft because the number on your screen doesn't change. In Lebanon, people opened their banking apps and still saw their life savings sitting there. Same digits, same account. But outside the bank, in the real world, their currency collapsed. More than 98% of its value since 2019. So you're rich on paper and broke at the grocery store. That's what modern collapse looks like. Not a robbery, a freeze. Temporary restrictions, withdrawal limits, for stability. And by the time you understand what's happening, you're not a customer, you're a hostage with a statement. Okay, now we talk survivors. Asset number 1, precious metals. Gold isn't an investment, it's insurance. It doesn't grow, it doesn't innovate, it doesn't produce income. It just sits there and refuses to become worthless. And in a collapse, that boring feature becomes the whole point. In Weimar Germany, people didn't get rich holding gold. They just didn't get annihilated holding paper. Because paper can be created endlessly. Gold can't. So gold doesn't need to go up. The currency goes down. Gold just stays gold. Asset number 2, foreign hard currencies. This is the escape valve. When local money starts dying, people don't debate. They don't wait for permission. They move their savings into something the local government can't manufacture. They vote with their wallets. Imagine 2 nurses in Beirut. Same job, same stress, same paycheck. One saved in local currency because it felt normal. The other saved in dollars because she didn't trust the system. Then the crisis hits. The first nurse still has money on her screen. The second nurse has purchasing power in her hand. That's the difference between surviving and begging. Asset number 3, productive equities. This one sounds backward until you see the pattern. In a collapse, stock markets can rocket upward, not because the country is healthy, but because the currency is dying. The measuring stick is shrinking, so everything priced in that currency looks like it's exploding. But here's the filter that matters. Only the businesses with foreign revenue survive. Exporters, commodity producers, companies earning dollars, euros, anything outside the burning building. Domestic-only companies don't survive. They cook from the inside. Their costs inflate. Their customers go broke. Their supply lines snap. So equities aren't a blanket safe haven. Only productive ones, connected to outside cash flow. Asset number 4, consumables. This is the Amish hedge, because gold is great until you're hungry. In the first stage of collapse, the question isn't, how do I preserve wealth? It's, how do I live without the system? And that's when the real currency becomes boring, practical stuff. Lighters, batteries, antibiotics, hygiene products, soap, tools, things you can use, things everyone needs, things that trade easily when money stops working. This is where the fantasy dies, because in real survival, you can't eat a gold coin. You can't disinfect a wound with a bond certificate. And here's the line people hate, because it's true. Gold sits in a safe, producing nothing. Skills and tools save your life. Asset number 5, agricultural land. Not real estate, a calorie generator. It produces the one asset humans need every single day: food. And that's different from urban property. Urban property depends on tenants with jobs, courts that function, police that show up, contracts that mean something. In a collapse, those supports get weak fast. Agricultural land is different. It can still produce when the financial system is sick. And history shows the same pattern in wartime. When systems strain, food production decentralizes. People don't become investors, they become gardeners, farmers, producers, whether they plan to or not. Now the twist. Most people think the answer is just gold, but true safety is layered. A little metal to store value, hard currency as an exit door, productive businesses tied to foreign cash flow, consumables for immediate barter, and the ability to generate calories. But above all, skills, community, production. Because when currencies fail, the only things left are what you can do, what you can fix, what you can grow, and who will trade with you. So here's the call to action: simple, urgent, and real. Diversify before you are forced to, because collapse doesn't send invitations, it sends invoices. Subscribe for more financial forensics, real history, real patterns, no bedtime stories. And next, we'll map the early warning signs, the exact moment a currency stops being money and starts being paper.